if you were going to solve that problem yourself, the issue of burnout and obviously, as you said, the grind, so to speak, what do you think the best way is to go about trying to, change the ethos in the gaming community about training for 8 to 12 hours a day and showing them that there's a better way of doing it? How would you go about that?
Well, I know certainly that's the reason why you know how we've come together. You guys have done your research and you guys want to come in and change that. And I think the both of us together can change that. I think it's going to take for someone to take that stand to say, no, this is the way we feel it's done. Mm-hmm. And once we can prove that, mm-hmm. then hopefully then that starts a trend where other people to come on board and say, well, these guys have shown mm-hmm. that they can compete at the highest level, work training for 6 hours a day rather than 10.
Yes.
And I think that's super important. Once you start to get that trend going and people can see that their teams are, for example, say our teams are competing at a very high level, mm-hmm. and we can say, well, it was down to G-Science, mm-hmm. I think that's going to be very, very important.
So we have, created a partnership, and we've been working together now for the last 6 weeks or so. We've been working with the Rocket League team, and we've already seen some, great improvements in their performance. Overall, what have you seen from a managerial point of view, and how have you seen that working with G-Science has affected the players' health and performance?
Well, I think our goals certainly align. I think that's something we've talked about, that we both seem to be on the same wavelength. And I think that's something I've missed and I've needed. Mm-hmm. I've needed someone who is on that same wavelength that can understand that this is going to be a big thing here. Mm-hmm. I know certainly from the players' point of view that we want to be able to bring in the players that we can say, well, NSG is offering you this. This is something that professional teams sometimes don't even offer. And that's something that we want to be able to attract the best players here and give them the best platform to be able to do all that. It also means from a parent's point of view that their son, daughter, whoever is actually being looked after.
Yes.
I think that's very important. Certainly growing up within sport, if I needed a new pair of football boots, I would have got them because I needed them to play that sport. Mm-hmm. A parent is very sort of reluctant to go and buy a new keyboard for their son or their daughter.
Of course, yeah.
So we want to make it out that we can change that mindset that the parent will go and buy them because it is important. They're being looked after in their health. They're making a wee bit of money. Mm-hmm. They're, whether it's through YouTube or whatever, or through they're building a personality, they're building a fan base, and mm-hmm. and it's positive, and that's what we want to show, that the gaming can be positive.
I think it's about changing the stigma that's currently around gaming and showing them that it has evolved from just players sitting in their bedroom gaming for 8 to 12 hours a day in the darkness. Yeah. There's such a great community aspect to it and a great social aspect, and especially for young children. There's a lot of research to show that playing early on can actually help develop the cognitive side, the reaction times, their cognitive expertise. So I think together would be a great way in which we could create content to show that there's so many positives from playing esports and bringing people together. So leading on from that though, I'd love to speak to you more about your vision for NSG for the future. So you've achieved a lot in the last few years, but esports now is rapidly taking off. How are NSG going to be a part of the wave?
Again, I think it's just through being consistent. I think mm-hmm. very much that when you slow down and the social media posts slow down stuff, people almost think you're done. Mm-hmm. So I've always tried to be consistent. Always tried to and get with trends. I think getting with sort of the times and stuff to speak. So for example, Apex Legends has just come out. We find a team and things start to develop, and I think that's important. Again, it does come down to money. Money talks with everything. Everyone knows that. It's common sense. But if we can get on to that to start with, that gives us that wee bit of a head start, rather than a month or two down the line and next minute a big Apex tournament gets announced, mm-hmm. all the players are gone. So we do have a very good Apex Legends team at the minute, which is great. Yeah. So it's about keeping up with those trends, and it's the same thing. League of Legends is like your football. People maybe complain about it and stuff, but it's always going to be your biggest game. Mm-hmm. Football's the same. You're never going to overtake it in terms of the amount of players that play it, and League of Legends is that game. So mm-hmm. it is something. I know the Irish scene's going through a wee bit of a restructure here and stuff in terms of League of Legends. It's more aimed at UK, but that is something that we certainly want to be involved with over the next sort of couple of years. Rag Games have come in, they've sort of restructured the UK. It's going to be an actual, almost like I think they're developing like a LAN centre that you play every weekend. You're going to have proper league matches every weekend, and that's the way I've said esports will go. You'll find that you're almost going to have home and away games. You look at here from our point of view, Belfast will play Lisburn. their own facilities, home and away games, and I think that's what will be created in the future.
I think a good example of that, though, recently in the news there was Philadelphia. So their Philadelphia Fusion team, the Overwatch team, just created a 3,500 seater spectator stadium, and they've got a full training facility there with their fully equipped gym, their training lounge, their personal chef. So I think that's really the start of the professionalism of esports, and I think, as you quite rightly said, what we're going to see is it's very, very similar to that of conventional sports. So you're going to see a lot of local teams taking on each other, and it is going to turn into this, mammoth industry. And I think we're just seeing the wave of it now, where it's about to hit the mainstream. It probably already has, I think you could probably say. But no, it's definitely very exciting for esports coming into the future.